First on CNBC interview is Chegg CEO Dan Rosenzweig. Dan, welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
Thank you, Sarah. How are you?
All good. Another impressive beat for you and double-digit growth across the board. How much is it related to COVID, do you think?
So, a lot of people have asked the question about stay at home, not stay at home. We're neither of those, which is it doesn't matter if you take the class in person or if you went to campus and you're hybrid or you stayed at home and took it online. Wherever you are physically doesn't affect our business. And so we're seeing growth in all three of those categories. So when we looked at conversion, we looked at engagement, we looked at renewals, they were the same across all those categories. So it's not that COVID helped us in the United States. COVID did help us outside the United States, which was for the first time students went online to find learning help and they discovered Chegg, and that growth has continued. So we benefited from that, but we expect to see continued high levels of growth, high margin for years to come because the category is so big.
So as kids go back to school, Dan, and we have seen that, how are they using your products? What types of tools and what types of skills?
Well, remember, we're for higher education, so it's the same whether they're in-person, hybrid, or offline, which is they come in to master their homework, to understand concepts, to get answers to questions, to be able to replace office hours, which they're unable to get, or labs, which schools are no longer funding. Even post-COVID, they're not going to be able to fund them the way that they used to. So our usage just continues to grow. The frequency in which people use us, the number of pages in which they consume, the length of time. I mean, we saw ARPU grew. Everything has been up and to the right. It's been pretty spectacular business year as much as it's been a difficult personal year.
Dan, if we were to jump forward 3-5 years when the world is back to normal and talking just about education, so college and below, what age group will be using learning from home the most versus the least in a normal world?
That's a great question. And first of all, congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you very much.
So, it depends. I think there's going to be a boom in homeschooling, which is not something that Chegg does. We don't go to the lower grades. I think you're going to find that a lot of parents were frustrated by what they saw online for K through 12, and a lot of teachers were frustrated, to be honest with you, and they had a right to be. On higher education in high school, I think you're going to see high school continue to be in person, but hopefully technology will be used to help people meet them where they're academically are, because the classroom can't do that. The classroom can only teach to a middle ground, and we need to teach each person to where they are. Higher ed is the one that's going to see the most remote learning. Before the pandemic started, less than 30% of students said they wanted some form of online learning. Over the course of the pandemic, it's now 75% of all students have said they want a hybrid learning environment. But stunningly, 44% of all professors now agree they can teach as well online as offline. The holdouts are what you'd imagine, which is the entrenched four-year college professors that don't really want anything to change. So it's going to be higher education, and it's going to be developing countries where people can't get into physical locations. And I think you're going to see a large transition, regardless of whether the Biden impact of free community colleges happens or not. You're going to see a lot of community colleges go online because the professors struggle with the same thing the students do, which is too much time to get physically in a location for only 50 minutes of teaching.
How's the international rollout going, Dan, and where do you see the most opportunity?
Yeah, it's going spectacularly well. I mean, we said at the beginning of the year we hope to beat 1 million subscribers, and we not only affirmed it, we think we're going to do better than that. We're seeing success, and obviously anywhere that people need to learn STEM and they teach it in English, we're seeing extraordinary growth. So the obvious countries, Australia, Canada, but we see a lot in Asia, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates. I mean, it's really difficult to point out anything one over the other because they're all growing. And what that proves, in our opinion, is what we offer as a service is actually relevant around the world because STEM is STEM. We're not teaching politics or religion. We're really supporting those who are in math or business or science or computer science, which is really where the world has to go and is going.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.